Would like to call to order the City of Belton Planning Commission meeting for May 2nd, 2023. Could we have the roll call, please?
Chairman McPherson,
Here.
Mayor Larkey,
Here.
Councilmember Pryan,
Here.
Commissioner McDonough, here. Commissioner Monahan Bass,
Here.
Commissioner Vest, Commissioner Walton, and Commissioner Warren.
All right. Thank you. We do have a public hearing on our agenda this evening, but the first item that we have would be for the consideration of minutes from our August. It's been a long week. Long year. April 18, 2023 Planning Commission work session. And would entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 18th, 2023 Planning Commission meeting as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and second. Any additions or corrections needing to be made? Seeing none, all those in favor of the approval say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. We will call to order a public hearing for the consideration of Unified Development Code text amendments, UDC 2023-02, for amendments to adopt provisions related to permitted land uses and use-specific standards and associated definitions. Staff, Director?
Right. Yep. Thank you, Chair McPherson. Before this evening, our land use code updates to expand certain land uses and land use groups to additional zoning districts in the city. This update includes adding definitions to Section 1-5 for new arts and crafts manufacturing and production uses, as well as amending the North Scott overlay land use table as referenced in Section 18-8, amending the land use table in Section 40-1, and adding special use standards in 40-3 for limited manufacturing and production uses in certain commercial zoning districts. So I'll go through the code amendments in more detail and answer any questions at the end. And this starts on page 23 of the staff report. Starting with
Is the
section...
microphone working? They can't hear you.
Starting with section 1-5, the amendments include striking the current definition of art gallery and replacing with arts and crafts studio or gallery. That includes an expanded definition to accommodate the production of art in addition to the sale and display of art. This would also include accessory sales of art-related products. The next three uses are related to micro-manufacturing and the production of arts and crafts products, which include woodworking, ceramics, jewelry, and similar products, as well as small batch food and beverage production. Examples are provided in each definition, and there are some general size limits for food and beverage production that are appropriate for commercial zoning districts. The last new use is the business incubator, makerspace, and co-working use, which allows shared spaces for businesses, including the sharing of commercial kitchens to help small businesses grow and expand. For the land use table updates, starting with section 40-1, which is the general land use table that applies citywide outside of the North Scott corridor. We're expanding several public and civic uses to be permitted by right in most commercial and industrial zoning districts. That includes expanding libraries to all commercial zoning districts, and then government buildings and properties, public assembly, public safety services, religious assembly, and schools to all commercial, business park, and industrial zoning districts. We're adding the new use group for arts and crafts, manufacturing, and production, and allowing all of the 5 uses that we've added definitions for. Those uses would be allowed in all office, commercial, business park, and light industrial zoning districts. Additionally, we've added arts and crafts studio or gallery and the business incubator uses to the parks and recreation zoning, as those may be appropriate as part of a city-owned park or community facility. On page 25, the use table continues, and we are adding small retail uses, which are any retail use less than 100,000 gross floor area, to be permitted in business park and light industrial zoning. That is already permitted in the flex commercial industrial zoning in the North Scott corridor, so we're matching what is already permitted in North Scott. And then lastly, in the land use table, we're adding the limited manufacturing and production use to be potentially permitted with a special use permit in the C2 and C3 commercial zoning districts with a special use permit approval. The special use permit gives the Planning Commission and City Council discretion in determining if that use is appropriate at the requested location. So there are some areas where in C2 zoning it may be appropriate if it's in a more service-based area, but it may not be appropriate if it's in a more retail-based location. And in section 40-3, there's a new section 10 being added specifically for those special use standards, and that would include limiting the production and manufacturing floor area to less than 10,000 square feet, and it must meet all of the performance standards in the code and not create a nuisance to any other uses on the property or adjacent properties. The final section being amended is section 18-8, which references the land use table in the North Scott Corridor Overlay District. Again, this includes making the same expansions to the public and civic uses to commercial and flex commercial industrial zoning districts in North Scott. It also includes adding the arts and crafts manufacturing and production uses, and expanding the limited manufacturing production uses with a special use permit to the C2 and C3 zoning district, which would be subject to the same special use standards as applied citywide. Staff does believe that the text amendments are in the best interest of the city, as these amendments would accommodate a wider range of land uses and businesses, which helps support the community and economic development. It also gives additional opportunities for small businesses to start up, grow, and expand. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions from the commission.
All right. Since we are in a public hearing, we will also have opportunity if anyone from the community would like to speak either in favor or opposition. We'll ask that you come to the podium if you would like to, and give your name and address for the secretary, but we would open that up for any questions from our public at this point. Anyone wanting to speak? If not, then we will go ahead and close the public hearing, and we'll open it to the commission. Any questions or comments that we have from any of the commissioners for the staff? I think just as a point of clarification, and Director, I believe, as we've talked just before the meeting, this is just pretty much expanding on what we already have, not anything new, not any restrictions, but just expanding the...
Yeah, all of these uses would be expansions. We've added the arts and crafts manufacturing production uses because they're not clearly defined anywhere in the code. So that's the purpose of adding those, just to make it clear that those are permitted in the city. And everything else is an expansion, so there's no additional restriction to any uses that are being added here.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to recommend approval of the UDC text amendments as presented.
All right, we do have a motion. Thank you, Mayor. Is there a
Second.
Did you get that?
She was first.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any further or final comments before we take the vote? I did. Yep. So, seeing none, could we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Pryan,
Aye.
Commissioner Monahan Bass,
Aye.
Mayor Larkey,
Yes.
Commissioner McDonough. And Chairman.
Aye. All right, thank you. So these will now go to the city council, is that correct?
Yes, they will be on the council agenda on May 30th.
On May 30th. Okay, very good. All right. All right, thank you. Director's report.
Yep, a few things. We currently have a RFP out for the 2024 comprehensive plan. The proposals are due this Friday, so we will be reviewing those as soon as we receive those to start that process. We hope to bring more information about that in the next couple of Planning Commission meetings and how the Planning Commission will be involved throughout that process. Under state statutes, the Planning Commission is the ultimate decision maker on adopting the comprehensive plan. So the Planning Commission will be involved throughout the process on that. Both scooters on East North Avenue, East North Avenue is currently nearing their framing completion on the exterior of the building. So they hope to be finished with that in the summer. And then we have issued the shell permit for the other place next to near Price Chopper. So they should be going vertical possibly as early as this week. And then our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 16th.
All right. I saw that there was a lot of work taking place at my other place, driving by there tonight. So they've been busy. And same with scooters. I was surprised when I drove by there over the weekend. So,
It's
all
like
right.
they airdropped it.
Okay, I believe that is all that we have. Again, reminder of the meeting, Tuesday, May 16th will be our next meeting.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll see you next time.